Hi guys, so I'm going to show you how I made this and what it's for, and basically I'm going to show you where to get the parts at to make it. So think we're the intro now, possibly. I don't know. So I'm just gonna tell you that I'm gonna have some of the parts ready. So as soon as the intro plays, so this is a little contraption I made, so it's really interesting. So I'm gonna show you how I make it, how I made this, and well, not really show you exactly how I made it, but what parts and how you make it is up to like you. So let me get to it real quick. So let me just switch for you. Let's see if this can. So here we go. So this is my web browser, but so the one thing you will need is so basically it depends on how you decide to make this. If you want to go from C to C actually directly, because the thing I'm going to show you is a USB-C to has USB-C to A, and so it just needs it for power. So all you can you kind of get a super short USB-C cable and or basically get a long one, cut it to the length you want. I made this one kind of long so I could basically route it behind my Mac and not put strain on the USB-C port. But so I use USB-C to USB-A. So I'm just gonna show you the main parts you actually need online, and the other parts you are gonna have to you should already have, like wire cutters, a soldering iron. I don't have my soldering iron here because I put that away already, but you can see the parts over there. So some of them at least. Um, so this is USB-C to USB-C. I recommend either a short one of these or a short USB-C to A. Or if you want to make your own, that would be even better because you can make it to a custom length you want. But it's pretty easy for USB shortening. You just have to cut the specific wires and then strip back the sheathing, and then you just have to solder them together. Um, and you also want some um shrink wrap. I mean, some um heat shrink. So I just used electrical tape because that's what I had, and I just did this project in like about an hour because I was kind of tired. But I basically made it so I could have something that it could stick to and where the USB plug is at on here, so I could basically just set it on there and put it onto my Mac or my Lenovo Legion Go. So next what you'll need is either that, you'll need one of these, USB-C to USB-A. This is to connect to your MacBook or your Lenovo Legion Go, or which use Thunderbolt and or which also does USB-C to USB-C over HDMI. And so if you have two Thunderbolt ports, then this will work. But if your device has USB-A and um if your device has USB-A, then put two USB-As on there, and then get a USB-A to A splitter like I'm gonna show you, and then just plug that directly in there because as long as your device has a HDMI port, this would work. And or if it has USB-C port, USB-C to HDMI device would work, which means you'll need USB-C and USB-A or a USB-C and C. So this is what I recommend, not this thing, but the little cable here. And if you want, you see CSD because it's higher quality, and the USB 3.2 and Thunderbolt. So this one is just a link. So you would need this right here, which is a, if you're going from C to HDMI. I use these ones. I have a lot of them. They work, and they're pretty cheap, like six bucks. Next thing is this. This is what you would need if you are wanting to capture multiple things with this setup. So if you have one of these devices, you want a 120 millimeter fan too for the other side with a USB-C. With a USB to fan split header. I'll show you that. So you could power the fan that plugs into the wall, and or power switch or USB hub that basically can provide power, so it would be able to run it. Next one is this guy. This is what I got. This was $109 minus $10. There's that. Next one, which is this guy, USB strips. What's that? Velcro strips, which I use for attach it. Next thing is this USB-A, USB-A 2, which is just a data and power cable. Since it's just going to be used for actually power, it doesn't matter what kind you get, as long as it has two USB-A's, or if you're going to C to C, it would need two actually C's, which would be a lot easier as long as you're willing to rewire a USB-C HDK cable. And this, which is a USB-A to fan header. So this is for the little adapter that I showed you right here, that it does get a little warm, so I have to put one of the fans. So I have to put one on the fan that plugged into my capture card, which is plugged into that little switcher I showed you. And then next one, which is this Noctua fan. I got this one because it's silent and it's the smallest fan I can find. Because as you can see, it's 40 millimeters, and this is how big it is. It's not that big, and it's not heavy, so there's that. And then the last thing, which is zip ties and the Elgato the HD60 or 4K 60. I use the HD60 because I'm using it just for cameras. I'm only capturing it 1080p, so there's that. That's it for that. And now going back to the face camera. So as you saw, those are the parts you need. So let me just go to the other setup over here. So let me just pause real quick. So I'm back. So basically, 1 second, let me do something real quick. Check. Alright, mic. Okay, so my bad. I muted the mic over here, so it's not working because I have to stop stuff. So basically, what you're gonna need for tools is gonna need some kind of wire strippers. I use these ones, which are cheap. Some pair of scissors um um for cutting wire, and then you're gonna need one of these if you have an issue with the basically your wire strippers. Probably get good wire strippers just to make it so you don't need a knife. You need one of these devices that I already showed you about, and then you need um a USB cable. So, for example, this is a USB-C cable. USB-A cable that has a barrel jack. Which I'm not gonna use this one. I'm not gonna cut it. So, you also need splitter. The splitter I showed you comes in a pack of 2. Here's the second one I have. I basically already mutilated the second one. So then you also need one of these. This one, I just ended up making a shorter one because the fan came with the like header with like the power and hot and ground already on there. So it was already cut. So I didn't have to cut this, and I can use this somewhere else. So, but I recommend if you are getting a fan, which you should for the other side, I recommend either getting a Noctool fan or a silent fan in general, and then using this with that one. You could use 120 millimeter Noctool fan. You can get those off Amazon too. So then you also need another USB cable. Basically sacrificed because what I ended up doing was because I could have gotten this shorter by actually cutting this, but I didn't cut this because of this is actually at the perfect length that I measured mine. Because right here is the USB-C to A cable, right here is the USB-A to splitter that I split up, and then from here is the 2 cables that combine together. The 2 cables that combine together for this one, and then right here I had a short USB-C to A cable. But if you don't have a short USB-C to A, you take a spare USB-C cable or a USB-C to C, and then pop one end off, like right here. Then take your wire strippers, strip the housing, and then you solder red to red, black to black in most cases for like ground. For ground and hot. Or if you're using green and green, if you're using green and white as ground and hot, you basically do that on the other end so it matches. So if you're using those colors, you could use green for ground, white for hot, and then put the white to black and green to red. But just as long as the wires have red and black, I'll just use red and black because of that's what they're meant for, power and hot and ground. So, and then I have a USB-C to A cable, short one that I have here, and then the fan cable with a USB-C with the USB-A to fan header on there, which if you got this Noctool fan, it should come with a little cable, with a little adapter. You take the adapter, strip the wires with the wire strippers, and once you strip it, you strip the end of a USB cable. That's why you need 2. One for and plus, you can probably get these at like a dollar store, or something, somewhere where they're cheap, because they don't have to be high quality. As long as they have red to red, black to black, it should be fine with any cable. So then you basically cut off both USB. You cut off the USB end on one side, and you take a USB one and then chop it in half, and then you make a shorter one, and then you plug the USB-C into here. into the little adapter that's right here, and then you put, then what I would do if I was doing this again, put heat shrink tubing on this so it looks better than this, but this is pretty fine for me because I'm not like showing this to people. But if you want it to basically show it to people, I recommend using heat shrink. And then I've basically measured where this would go. This is where it will end up on my Lenovo Legion Go and my MacBook. So right here it will be the MacBook, and the Lenovo Legion Go would be right in the center of here, which is fine. And so, other than that, you would need a pair of pliers just for the fact that when trying to zip tie these together, unless you in order to get them like tight there, you have to like zip tie them together. And then if you look inside of here carefully, there's a little button in there. You don't want to have the fan on that button, so you want to put it at a diagonal angle so it can fit on the button. Because how I did it before, I put it through one of these holes and it was pressing the button, so I had to move it down some, and that didn't look great. I mean, it wasn't cooling it well, so I ended up basically, and also I had to a lot more cable on here. So then I decided to redo this, and I put the cable, I cut the fan cable, red to red, black to black, yellow to yellow, and then that's for this fan specifically. And when doing each cable, I'll test to make sure they work. Don't plug it into a device that's important. So for example, if you have like something that's powered by USB, like a USB light, or something that's USB powered, that isn't like a phone or like a tablet, then you can get a USB light on Amazon for like $5 just to like test it, just make sure it doesn't damage your equipment. And then, for example, there, I tested because this cable I already know worked because I didn't actually splice it. This cable I tested because I spliced it in 2 spots. And then this cable that goes from the fan, I tested the fan on a USB fan splitter that I had right here. This is also, I got this for testing because I thought I was going to cut this, but it's just not what I wanted to do. So I cut the fans shorter because before I had this on here, this on here, this on here, so these 2 things, and that on there, and the extra long fan cable and the power cable for this little adapter. It was pretty long, so I tried tying it up. It worked, but it was too heavy, and I had to move stuff on the Lenovo Legion Go. So, other than that, this is how this one works. And and so basically, because this gets warm, the other side gets warm too. So the other side, so, and then you're also gonna need these Velcro zip ties, these Velcro ties which I showed you. I would make a plan. I made a plan on like piece of paper to make it, to see how I would do actually this properly. And so I also got 2 of these because I already had them. So put one on my MacBook. So if you have a Lenovo Legion Go and a MacBook or any computer that uses USB-C, and you don't want to use NDI to capture your computer, because I was using NDI on Ecamm, and the problem was when I did that, it ended up basically not sending the audio properly. So I just used my HD60, and I moved that to I moved my HD60, I mean my HD60X to the computer, and um and I moved the switcher to the HD60X, that 4 port, a 5 port, and put this onto the 5th port. So when I plug this in to the when I plug this into the here, I can switch it to the MacBook scene, which is showing the MacBook screen through the capture card, and it switches it to import for input 5. And if I switch it to Lenovo Legion Go, it's upside down. So it's because when Lenovo Legion Go is plugged in, it is upside down. And um and then when I flip it right side up, the Lenovo Legion Go itself is upside down after that. So I just turned the video around in software, and it looks perfectly fine. So that's what you need. So the pliers is just for this part. Then you don't need those anymore. Um, and then you also need electrical tape. Electrical tape or heat shrink tubing, a pencil, a ruler, and some of these zip ties. These are ones I got, which are bigger ones. So this is how it looks. So let me just show you. Let's see. So when I do this, so let me just put this stuff down. So this one is what I have. So we take this. See, so this is facing. This is facing right side up. So the port's facing down on here, so it wouldn't depress the button. So plug it in to the MacBook. I'll show it to the Lenovo Legion Go to. So you plug in the MacBook, take this, press it down here. Then you take this, and then you plug it in to the MacBook. It's not as hard as I made it look, but so when you do that, you open the MacBook. Turns on. As you see, fan starts to spin. See? And so this is how it looks on the MacBook. I wouldn't actually go out with it looking like, using it like this. The only thing that I keep on here is this USB-C to A adapter. USB-C to HDMI. So when it looks like this, it goes like this. So let me just show you what it looks like on my actual on my MacBook. On the Mac. So if we go here, so you don't see it, so you don't hear me talking, but so let me switch real quick. So if you press this one, it switches the input to MacBook, and so as you can see, this is my MacBook. So basically, that's that one. So as you can see, the MacBook is over here wirelessly. So it's wireless over here. I'm in front of my MacBook. See, right click, done. So, and now, if we go back over here, I had to get up, so if we go back to unboxing, you see it is upside down because of that guy. So basically, if we close the MacBook, close, and you see that's what the input looks like. And so once we unplug that, we can take the MacBook off. And you're seeing my Elgato capture, but as you can see, unplugged it. So now, the MacBook it will be taken unplugged, and it's now back to a regular computer now. So let me show you what the Lenovo Legion Go. So Lenovo Legion Go, take this guy, put it on its side, then you plug in this guy, so, and then you go like this, so where it's like this now. So this is how the Lenovo Legion Go would look. I don't use it like this always, but it's just when I want to capture my Lenovo Legion Go. So I hold it like this. Cable's in the way, but I don't play other way. So now, if we turn it on, Lenovo Legion Go is starting. Boom. So, and if you look at this, Legion Go, there you go.